Greening out in school is one of the worst reality checks you can ever get. And as a greening out connoisseur, I've faced this reality check on full throttle, pedal to the metal, face first, dead on. So as the charming, handsome, absolute monster of a man, I, CBD Perp, will tell you my experience as a complete utter dumbass during school. Disclaimer, everything that I say or do in this video is entirely professional grade level CGI. This is all made in a studio using green screens and video effects. Do not replicate anything that is said or done in this video. Everyone seen or spoken about in this video is 21 years or older. This is all fake. Anyway, enjoy. It was a school night and I was told by a friend that they have a cart and was willing to give it to me. So, of course I take the offer because I was naive and really wanted some weed. So, that night I got the dispo and had some before I went to sleep. This was maybe like 2 weeks before I greened out, by the way. As a way to hide the dispo during school, I bought this wallet sometime before that had this pocket on the side. So as a smart guy, I put this chunky 3-gram dispo in this pocket of a small ass wallet. I was surprised I never got caught beforehand, but then one morning, it was a regular ass day. Woke up, grabbed my wallet, got dressed, got ready for school, then got on the bus. Everything was going fine this morning until I made a fatal mistake. I was wearing these sweatpants that frequently had things fall out the pockets if I sat a specific way. Then, I made that mistake. I always sat in front of the bus, not on some sped shit. I just wanted off and on the bus. So boom, I'm sitting in the seat by myself, taking up the whole seating, sitting sideways with my leg up on the chair, which was already a thing I did all the time, but this time was a bad day to do it. The wallet had fallen out my pocket, mind you, with the dispo inside the wallet. This is where things take a turn. I get to my school, get off the bus with my wallet still on the bus seat, my card, a few buckaroonies, and worst of all, the dispo. We're all hiding inside that wallet, vulnerable. I get inside the school, and once I get to my locker, that's when the realization hit. The wallet wasn't in my pocket. My heart sank to my ass, my heart rate rose, and I could feel my heart pumping blood from the realization that just came over me. I started thinking of ways I could get it back or somehow get the bus driver to hold my wallet for me and could just give me the wallet back after school. So I made my decision, have the bus driver hold it for the time being, which was already a fuck up on my end. I went up to a teacher and asked if they could call the bus department and see if they can have the wallet held. My bus driver finds it, and from what she told me, she found my wallet and sees that the zipper on the pocket of the wallet was broke. She sees the white paper towel that was covering the dispo inside the pocket. Out of curiosity, she opens the pocket and moves the paper towel and finds the dispo. So boom, her immediate thought was to call the principal and say I had a vape in my wallet. Meanwhile, all this is going on, I'm in class having a regular ass morning, then I hear the class phone ring. That's when I realize the teacher's talking and I see her look at me and then I realize I'm cooked. I'm done for. My teacher comes up to me and says, the principal would like to see you in his office. I say, okay. I brace for the fact that I might get detention, suspended, or even expelled. So I make the walk of shame to the principal's office, but I act cool. I act like nothing bad happened. I get to his office and my principal asks me something along the lines of, so, do you have an addiction to nicotine or marijuana? And my immediate response was a bullshit answer of, nope, never done anything like that. I would never. I tried it once and never liked it. And by some miracle, this dumbass left me off with a slap on the wrist and a 2-day detention. And honestly, it wasn't even that bad. I got my wallet back, but no dispo. So now for about 2 weeks, I'm weed free. I was without weed for 2 whole weeks. It was early December and I was starting to really think about dabbling in some fiendish activities. I had got off of being grounded about a week or so before this day. Wanting some weed, I asked a mutual friend of a friend during seminar. Keep in mind, this is the day before the tragedy. Anyway, I asked this dude, we'll call him by the name of Dennis. He was about a year older than me and was honestly a menace for what this dude gave me. I asked him if he's got some weed, and not surprised, he did. So I asked him if he can bring his cart to the school the next day, and he agreed. So now the rest of the day, I was pretty giddy and excited to smoke some weed the next day. So now I'm just going through my day, going through these boring ass classes, learning about the Pythagorean theorem or some shit. I get home after the usual 1 hour long bus ride, play some games, eat dinner, then go to bed. Dreaming about having a good day at school the next day, not knowing what I'm about to get myself into. Waking up knowing I'm gonna smoke some weed after not smoking is one of the most exciting but nerve-wracking feelings ever. I do my regular ass routine every morning, brush my teeth, get dressed, listen to some music, and get on the bus. I'm playing some Pokemon Go on the bus as per usual, trying to pass the time. I get to school after what always feels like forever. Then I go to my locker, put everything away, get my Chromebook, and last night's homework. I put it on my desk in my class that I had at the time. Keep in mind that I had guided academics and a weird wobbly chair with a tall ass desk. And every morning I always went to the bathroom to kind of waste some time or, maybe take a shit or something. You never know. Also, the bathroom was like a gender neutral bathroom, so it was one of those really nice private ones next to that class. So boom, I place my stuff down, then go to the lunch/breakfast room, aka the common. A lot of people chill here every morning before class starts, so boom, I get into the commons and see Dennis sitting by the boys' bathroom entrance waiting for me. So he sees me, then immediately walks into the bathroom. I walk in after him so nothing looks weird. So I follow him and he pulls out his dab pen. So as the fiend that I was being, I take the pen from him after he turns it on. Then before I take a hit from it, I make sure to ask, yo, is this like a sativa, hybrid, or indica? And he says, oh, I think it's a hybrid. So I think really nothing of it. Then take a little test hit to make sure it works, I've pulled for about a second and a decent amount of smoke comes from 1 second. So knowing that this device even works, I take a fat pull for about like 3 or 4 seconds. Keep in mind, my tolerance was rock bottom. So me taking this rip was a shitty decision that I made. So after taking this rip, I dab up Dennis and leave the bathroom. So instead of going back to my classroom and letting this weed settle while I'm in a nice, comfortable area, I instead make the fateful decision to walk around and go from friend to friend in my school. I go to my friend Cam. Cam is sitting with his girlfriend. So boom, I sit down with him for a little while and I tell him what just happened. And as I'm telling him what just happened, I start to feel the weed hit. And it's hitting hard. So after a little bit of talking with Cam, I part ways with him and find my friend Sean. Sean is one of my homeboys, one of my goats, if you will. Sean and I were walking throughout the hallways, talking and stuff. Sean is making stupid jokes as I'm absolutely blasted on a whole nother planet. I don't remember everything he said, but I remember that he said some stupid shit like, bro, I think you can do a backflip right now if you try. And I'm trying not to laugh my ass off and look so suspicious in front of like the principal or something. So I say to him, bro, hell nah, don't say that or I will. Laughing together about the joke he made, I decided to walk off and go more towards my class that I had to go to. So on my way to my class, I see another one of my friends. My friend Sam was walking in the direction of the class. So my high ass thought it was a good idea to walk with him, making more witnesses to me being high. This dude's first words when he saw me, I kid you not, he said, bro, you look gone. I don't know why I didn't take that as a sign to just go to my class and sit on the floor instead of my wobbly ass chair. So after also chatting with him for a little bit, I finally get into my classroom, then I make a fateful decision. I sit on this wobbly ass chair and put my head down on this tall ass desk. By the way, at this point, I was so high that it was very uncomfortable even sitting down in this chair, because I didn't have anything to lean my back on to fully relax. So I was still kind of tensed up and it was very uncomfortable. So now it's about 7:48 in the morning. Class starts in 2 minutes. Thinking about the time, I open my eyes and the first thing I immediately notice, everything looks 20 to 40 feet in front of me. I was fried out of my ass, so my first instinct after noticing this was to go to the bathroom. So my first thought. Then this is where things really went to absolute shit and ass, bro. I stood up and I start to feel a little wobbly and a little tingly. And out of it entirely, by the way. So trying to think straight, I just walked to my teacher's desk. Halfway walking to her desk, my ears start to ring like pretty bad. And my head gets really hot. So I make it to her desk and now everything is off. My ears are ringing even worse. My head is completely on fire. Like, it feels like there's literally fire on my head and I can't see. You know when you stand up too quick and you kind of lose vision and you're a little dizzy? That's exactly what happened to me, but like 30 times worse. So now I'm just here standing in front of my teacher's desk with everything just going wrong. Somewhat off topic, by the way, but I saw my teacher about a month or two later because I went to an all ed program. It's not for like sped kids, but really for kids who struggle in school. She told me that I was hurling over her desk and was very pale. Anyway, back to the story. So I get to her desk, head on fire, can't hear much, can't even see, standing there hurling. My teacher just says, bathroom, because keep in mind, I go in the bathroom every morning. So she just guessed, and my response was this. Yeah, yeah. Then I just fucking lose it. I turn around and immediately go, can I just sit down for a sec? I don't feel too good. Keep in mind, this is in front of my entire class, which was honestly not that big of a deal because I didn't really know anyone in there, but still, it fucked up my morale. So now time is moving differently for me and I'm teleporting to different points in time. I blink, nobody is in the classroom. I blink, I'm in a wheelchair. I blink, then I'm being brought to the front office. At this point in time, I was able to like sober up because of all the cool air going on my face from being walked through the halls in this wheelchair. So high off my ass, I very slowly put up my hood over my head and pull the strings a little just so it can cover my face. Then I get brought into the front office, then into the security dude's office. And he's like the guy you go to when you get caught with your phone, so you just leave it there for your parents to get it. So I get brought to his office and this dude's like, I kid you not, in a very like American dad voice, he goes, so I'm gonna need to know what's going on with you. And I gave a bullshit ass story that some kid gave me an edible on the bus and I got too high, which honestly was a dumbass story because I honestly could have just said that I ate an edible at my house instead, but I was high off my ass. So it was just a story that I came up with by some miracle. But before I told him this story that I just pulled out of my ass, so I'm just constantly telling this dude that I really need a fan before I say anything. So finally, after me saying, I need a fan, I need a fan, I need a fan, I get a fan, and I tell this bullshit ass story. Then I blink, time jump. There's now paramedics and my dad in the other room. And I get a clear view of this because they're in front of the door and I'm sitting next to the door. So this is when I knew I was cooked. I blink, then I'm in a goddamn hospital bed. I do not remember a thing between those 2 points in time, but I just remember sitting in this hospital bed and my dad leaving the room. Then my mom just like opening the curtain really fast and going, really? I started laughing my ass off at that. Then I blink. Then I'm in the car with my mom, my phone and watch taken, and I go home to my inevitable doom of everything taken away. Plus, I just got out the slammer being grounded, and then I just got everything back in like 2 to 3 weeks later. So, the moral of this story, don't smoke weed at school, bro. It's not worth the risk. Unless you know what you're doing to not get caught. Alright, that's all. Bye!